Okay then guys, welcome back to another video. Don't skip the intro guys, it's pretty important to the future of this channel and stuff. I'll be about 60 seconds and then we'll get into it. As a lot of you guys know, a lot of the old videos have gone, and eventually they will all go. The reason for this, I think I have to be, brutally honest with everybody. I'm not the same man I used to be. I say things differently now. I have the same views, but I would frame them differently. A few of the views I've softened on, but I'm just not the same person. I don't speak the same way. I don't, the videos where I just say it as it is. The video where I said stop being a cunt, motivation, I said the C word about 1,000 times. I don't want that to be my personal image moving forward in the future. Certain things like that, certain videos where you've said certain things. It's not ideal and it's not great for the brand, for the future of 1M House. So you guys will notice it now says 1M House. That is the future moving forward. We can't say no to it, guys. It's doing too well. It's my future. It's all lined up. That coupled with the stream platform, it's just my dream. So, the Male Advantage years are here. I'm living them. So it's exciting. But with that being said, what I've done is I'm gonna re-record the old videos inside the course. And that course is probably going to last about 2-3 years, and then we might end up deleting that. But it will be 2-3 years where you'll still get access to the videos, okay? And by re-record, I mean 31-year-old me will be talking about the Male Advantage, straight 7 system, stick or twist. I'll be explaining it from my 31-year-old mind, so it will be the same content. It'll be very much the same stuff, but I can just explain it in a more mature way. So that'll be okay. So that'll be behind, obviously, the paywall of the course, which I don't have a problem with moving forward because we need to put it somewhere. It needs to be off channel. And the price of the course, I've put it up to $94.99 or 2 payments of $50 because it's worth that now. When I first started out, it was $69.99. And it was fine because there was less content on there, but now it's better. It's coming up to close to like 100 videos on there, or it will do once I add whatever I'm going to add this week and whatnot. So it's a lot. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of hours of content. It needs to go up in price now. So that's where all the content's going to be moving forward, guys. So on this channel, we're going to just be doing vlogs, 1M House stuff. The launch party. Somebody's going to be filming that. We'll be doing interviews while we're at the launch party. That'll be the type of content on the channel. Day vlogs like Gary V, Ryan Serhant style. My day job, what I have to do, problems that we're tackling. I think it's perfect for the future of this channel. I think the audience will, you guys will, as you're getting older, you'll appreciate it more. You'll be like, this is actually more relatable now than just some guys sat talking on a microphone. So, but if you are a fan of the old content, like I said, it will be over on the course, which you can find below. So instead of marathon mindset framing and everything that was in that course, it's just going to be a whole 1M course with everything you could ever imagine. So basically what the YouTube channel used to be is now going to be in the course, and we're going to move forward with a different kind of identity on the channel. Okay, so I hope I've explained that well, guys. In terms of the supplements, we changed them today as well. We put the overall price up of the supplements, but the discount is now 20%. So if you subscribe monthly, you get 20% off, which actually makes it cheaper than before. But it's $29.99 now to UK people, and then it's price adjusted based on the area you're in because of the free shipping. It all works out roughly the same. So that's the 2 changes, guys, and now straight into the video that you came here to watch. So this video is very important, and that's why I don't mind doing these long intros, because it does kind of filter out the people who don't have long attention spans, who won't take on this message, okay? And I probably will re-record this video in the future. It's that important for the course. I might even put this video in the course from like this point now. Do you know what I mean? If I edit it and put it out there. But this video is all about male kind of timing. The timing in life that a man can put together. So, I've said to you guys in the past about pre-season. Okay, well, I've been thinking recently what I've done and what I continue to do and what I'm actually looking forward to in the future, because I'm in the Male Advantage years now. That's cool, but in my head I'm like, what else have I got to strive for? It's almost like, what's next? What comes after this and whatnot? And what I've been introduced to in the last 6 months or so is a higher level of living, around higher level people, around, the top level, upper echelon of people and that sort of lifestyle. and I really like it. And it's given me a new kind of lease on life, a new goal, where the buzz term for me now is I've refined myself to be in the perfect position to capitalize on what I want. I actually wrote this term down, and I think it sums it up better, guys. So bear with me. What I wrote was, I wrote refining myself for the big leagues. That actually makes so much more sense. I'll make that the title of the video, actually. Refining myself for the big leagues. So I'll give you a great example, one that everyone can understand. And I always just think any man at any age can understand women. So it's just the perfect example to use. Let's say you're 18 and you've got a dream girl. You manage to get her. You settle down. You have a couple of kids. By 28, you might have got to such a level in life where you're like, oh, maybe I cashed in too early. Right? That's a real thing. I don't think, even though we got a new identity on this channel, I don't think that's a bad thing to say. It's like taking the first job offer at 18 that comes your way, whereas in reality, you could have got double the pay from something else, if you had just nailed an interview. It's, you do the same in life in general. If you put everything into your first ever job and business idea and whatnot, and you gave absolutely everything and you dedicated to it, you might be like, years later, why did I do that? Like, why didn't I just use that as a stepping stone to get some whatever? And this is why I've got so much passion right now for life, because I feel as though I've been refining myself for the big leagues, and I continue to refine myself for the big leagues, because the key term is pre-season. When I told you guys before, this is like sports where it's pre-season. It's what do you call it in America? Is it the off season? It's not off season. It's whatever happens before the league starts. I can't remember what you call it now. Somebody put it in the comments. But it's that. It's the early stages where you're just getting warmed up, you're getting tuned up, you're getting ready for everything ahead. Because, and I'll go back to the example of, the women again to finish it off. Let's say there is a straight 10, beautiful model out there. She's your perfect type, right? Probably from 18 to like 28, she's off of the cards for you. Maybe even till like 35, right? From 18 to 35, she's out of your league. She's out of, And I'm thinking metaphor, like I'm not saying, oh, she was also 18 and you moved up and then once she was of a certain age, she was able to, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're going through your life and, the options that were available to you at a certain age might not be the upper echelon, might not be what you really, really want. Do you know what I mean? So what you're doing throughout life by working on yourself, by, constantly hitting the gym, changing your lifestyle, building a business, changing who you are mentally, like learning how to speak to people, reading certain books that just change your mentality, like all this stuff along the way, all the failures that you go through, all the shit that you go through, it's just body hardening you, it's mentally hardening you. All those gym sessions where you couldn't walk when you left the gym, it's all pushing you to a certain stage in life that when you arrive, let's say 36 years old, let's say you get to 36 years old and you meet, at a high level party, which you would not have had access to before, you bump into a 27-year-old supermodel. And she's like, wow, this guy is unbelievable. Like, he ticks every single box that I'm looking for. You end up getting married, having kids with this woman. You couldn't have done that without the years of refining. Do you know what I mean? This is what I mean by refining yourself for the big leagues. As a man, you're not really born with anything. You're not born with the body. You're not born with the looks. You're not born with wealth. You're not born with the experience. All the things that we're valued on. You're just not born with them. They're not there before probably 28, the majority of them, right? You might be able to do body before 25, but other than that, it's just really difficult to get things going. You are refining yourself, like I said, for the big leagues. So that, and let's get away from women for a second. At 38 years old, mentally and experience-wise, you're calm enough, you're intelligent enough, you're experienced enough to start that business, turn it within 3 years into a business that makes 10 million a year, and land that big deal with some serious clients that takes you to 100 million at 42 years old. Because you've refined yourself for the big leagues. You've put yourself in that position to wrap that deal up. You've put yourself in a position to be taken seriously. You've put yourself in a position throughout life so that when it mattered, you were able to make effect of it. And this is what I think so many people get disheartened about. You know, you get a guy who's like 26 years old, who's feeling really low, feels like he's behind in life, but it's like you're not ready yet. You know, you think of a sports athlete. You got some young kid who's super talented, loads of speed and everything, and he's 21 years old, and it's just like, it's not quite clicking, it's not quite working. And then he goes, meets a certain coach, plays under that coach for 3 years, becomes the best player in the world. Right? How many times have we seen that happen where somebody just comes out of their shell and everyone's like, what on earth has happened? And guys, that'll come from like a positional change, a little piece of advice, some, you know, a mental shift where he's like, do you know what? I've been going out partying 2 days a week. Like, I'm a professional athlete. This is my job. I need to take this more seriously. I need to lock in. I want to become one of the greats. He wouldn't have had that at 21, but maybe at like 27, he locks in and then has 3-4 years, the best 4 years of his life, becomes one of the most famous sports athletes on the planet, wins all the trophies and awards, goes down as a Hall of Famer, and then meets his wife because he's one of the, you know, the main guys at the time, meets his wife during that time frame, and his whole life comes together, and he's like, wow, if I didn't put that work in those 3 years, if I didn't find that coach, if I didn't move to that team, that's what life is. That's especially what male life is. It's crafting yourself day after day in pre-season. I always told you guys that pre-season was anything before 30. As a 31-year-old man who's 32 at the end of August, I feel like I'm definitely in the male advantage years. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's definitely great. Do you know what I mean? Ticked all the boxes that I wanted to tick and everything's taken off. But it's almost like I've refined myself in a certain way that now I can do 1M House. Do you know what I mean? I've refined myself in a certain way that I can now... I'm thinking about business differently. I'm overhauling everything that I've done. I'm strategizing differently. I've got new skills. I'm working with different people, which got me thinking differently about the world. And I'm learning. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm learning and I'm refining myself even more every single day. And I'm becoming better at an accelerated rate. Before it was like every year, then it was every 6 months. Now it feels like every week where I'm learning something new or evolving or changing something where I'm like, wow, yeah, why was I not doing that before? And it's putting you at a upper echelon. It's putting you at a higher level so that, you know, you become the man that is ready for the big leagues. You know, there's no better example than kids. Like, imagine having kids at 22. Like, who I was at 22 would have been awful for those kids. But if I decide to have kids, let's say 39, 40 years old, those kids are going to have a great life. You know, they can be like, you know, not going to be old. You're still going to be hitting the gym, staying in shape. Like, how's that going to happen, right? You stay on top of it. I'm permanently 12% body fat or below. How am I going to go over that? It doesn't make sense. Plus, there's always TRT at like 40, right? But, you know, what a life those kids are going to have. What a dad they've got to raise them, to like teach them about certain things. And I've spoken before on this channel about Michael Rubin. Okay, Michael Rubin is 51 years old. He's not married yet, but his partner is 32 years old. Supermodel Camille Fisher, I believe. Looks department, she's probably like 10 times better than he is, right? He's not a handsome guy, quite short, quite chubby, but the guy's a billionaire, super confident, great circle of friends, houses all around the world, massive businesses. He can give a speech in any room. You know, he's refined himself throughout his life to become somebody special. And then he gets the woman of his dreams. He's got this amazing life. Like he's almost refined himself for like 50 years to put himself where he is now. And now he's really cashing in on it for the big leagues. This is when it really matters. To think that is crazy. To think he's 51 years old and his life has never been better at any stage than it is today. How nuts is that? Like his man worth. You know, if you want to phrase it like that, his man worth, the things that he has in his life, you know, his music video assets. I hope that makes sense. You know, like the cars, the houses, the women, whatever. It's almost like a music video thing, right? But the stuff that guys go, oh, wow, shiny, bright, like beautiful, whatever. Like his life has never been better than it is today. And when you think about that, you're like, God, the guy's 51 and he probably couldn't have done all this stuff at like 22. So you're constantly refining yourself as a man. You're constantly getting better mentally, physically, spiritually, all these different things, financially, you know. your assets, your intelligence, what you actually do with the money when you get it. You know, decisions that you've made that you've learnt from that maybe were failures, things that messed up, women that got away, and you look back at the drawing board and you drop your ego and you go, do you know what? Yeah, I need to improve on that. You control yourself. Like, I used to be a really angry guy, and now I'm just, something happens and I'm like, well, there's no point getting angry. We might as well just see how we can deal with it. That's an attractive trait to men, women, business people. You know, anybody who's around you would be like, wow, I can trust this guy. I can rely on him. I notice those traits in other people now, which is another refined skill. So I can surround myself with even better people. Do you see what I mean? This all happens over time. And that's what a lot of you guys are forgetting. You know, if you're like 23 years old and disheartened because you haven't got the world at your feet, you are refining yourself every single day. No matter what you're doing, you're learning, you're getting better, you're chipping away at it, you're making mistakes, you're going, you know, I was clueless back then, but that is the part of the journey as a man. You are clueless. You know, unless you're born into a wealthy family that can teach you all this stuff, or you've got an older brother that maybe does my job. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard. And even then, you're going to still make the mistakes. Like, having the information is no guarantee. Like, how many people know that eating ice cream and sugar is bad for them, but they still do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, having the information is no guarantee. For some people, they might hit like 32 and it just clicks and they go, why have I not been working hard? My life's coming to an end. Like, it's just a maturity thing. It just happens for different people. Something happens and, you know, you just go, I got to live a different way. Like, in the last year, I've started stretching and doing cardio like 4 or 5 times a week. And I'm just like, why was I not doing that before? Why was I only lifting weights and just getting tighter and tighter? Like, it was just silly. You know, why have I not researched this topic and that topic? Why am I not reading books on this area of life? Like, why did I ever stop reading books? Do you know what I mean? There's so many stupid things that you do in life where you go, why was I doing that? Like, why did I think that looked good? Why was I wearing that sort of stuff? Like, why was I not investing in that? Why was I spending my money on this stuff? Like, what a moron. Why was I not creating spreadsheets and lists and, you know, going through exactly my finances and knowing what I'm spending on? How did I forget about those 4 payments that are costing me £100 per month? Like, one ego move to be like, I've got so much money, I don't need to get, like, cancel those fucking 4 things. Do you know what I mean? That all happens throughout life. You just get better and better. And the point I'm making, and this is what you need to take away from the whole video, guys, is what you're doing above everything is you're positioning yourself. I remember Arsene Wenger once said about Zinedine Zidane, he was like, I can't remember the exact quote, you guys can search it, but he said it was when he scored 2 against Brazil in the World Cup final, he got 2 headers. He said it's something like when skill and talent and hard work meets timing. It was something like that, meets timing. And he was like, and everything comes together at one time. That is male life. That is male life, okay? You can have 1 year that completely changes your entire life, where you've been working on yourself, refining yourself. You get to, what number have we not used yet? Let's say 33, right? You get to 33 years old, and you've just become someone. Do you know what I mean? You just become that guy, and you're just like, wow, this year it's really clicked. It's really bumped into place. Some guy notices that, and he's like, I want to do business with this guy. I really like who he is. I really like what he stands for. I've noticed the work you're doing is brilliant. Quick handshake, a few contracts drawn up. You're now worth 2-3 million more than you were at the start of the year, right? Your whole life changes. You get a really nice apartment. Let's say you're in New York. You buy a house, you get a really nice apartment, nice car. You start dressing a little bit better. You make some smart investments. You're out one night with some colleagues at a beautiful rooftop bar. You see the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. You're feeling like, I'm the man. You go and talk to her. Guess what? You land her. She becomes your wife, girlfriend, whatever it is. That could all be in a year. But you couldn't have done any of that at 27, 26, 25, 24, because you weren't the right man. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are refining yourself for the big leagues so that when the time comes, you're ready to cash in on all of those things. Like I said, Michael Rubin, 51 years old. I think he met this woman at like 45, 46. He refined himself so he was in a position to take advantage of these things when they came along. Now, it might take 10 years longer for one guy than it does for another and whatnot, but you're all doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. We're all refining ourselves for the big leagues. It's very much stick or twist. You know, at 18, I take what I've got. That job, that woman, that car, that. It's like, refine yourself. See what happens. Patience is everything, and you don't have to rush your life as a man. You just don't know what's around the corner. You don't know. I think it's very fair to say, and I don't think it's misogynistic, and I don't think it offends people. I think it's very fair to say that you don't know what options are going to be on the table for you in the next 5-10 years. I think that's very fair to say. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's very smart to not just go, oh, big wave, I'll take it. To be like, well, hold on, let's like think about the weather. Like when, the waves out there are getting choppier, they're getting bigger. Like there's some big ones on the horizon. I'm not going to take the first one I see. There might be some bigger ones behind it. I think that's a very logical, smart decision to take in life. How many of you would go? How many of you would, sit at a restaurant and they just said we're going to serve random plates, and what you got to pick on the buffet as it goes round. There's going to be random plates. You got to pick what you want. You wouldn't just go, right, what's the first one off the conveyor belt? Slap it down and start eating it. You might be allergic. You don't know what you want. Do you know what I mean? You'd look. You'd have a little survey. You'd be like, what's coming around the corner? Oh, that chicken over there, that looks delicious. I'll wait for that. Like, it's the same in life. Do you know what I mean? You're waiting for the best possible scenario for yourself. And as a man, that's male life. You have to refine yourself for the big leagues. It's all about timing. You are literally positioning yourself who you are. Do you know what I mean? You're positioning who you are. You're positioning what you have. You're positioning your life in general. You are a product. My name's Chris Sturmy. I'm a product. Like, I have certain features. I have certain things that, I was blessed with genetically. A big back. I had things that weren't great. Hair fell out at like 22. Do you know what I mean? There's like certain things that are good, certain things that are bad, and you're just refining yourself. I was born into a family where my dad worked hard and made good money, but he left at 14, and by 18, 19, me and my mum were broke. So I had to start with those circumstances. Okay, well, you'd have to work on that. You're refining yourself. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to position myself at the perfect position in life where I go, I'm in the big leagues now. I can have everything I ever want at the top end, at the top level. Opportunities that come along that are worth billions. You're like, well, I've got 30 million in the bank. I'm actually in a position to invest in that. That you can't do that at 22, 23. A straight 10 walks past and you're like, do you know what? I'm in a position. I think I can land her. I'm confident. I'm going to go and talk to her. At 23, you wouldn't even be in the room at the party where she is. You wouldn't even have the money to catch the flight to go to the place where she's going to be at. Do you know what I mean? Never mind have the confidence. That's what it is as a man. Now, I'm very conscious because of 1M House that this sort of advice has made a lot of you lazy. And you've gone, oh, it's fine. I'm optimistic. That's a great drug, And you sit there and you go, oh, Chris has calmed me down again. My life's shit, but he said it's going to be better in the future. I can relax, go to bed, watch a movie. I'll watch his video again because it gives me a dopamine boost. It makes me feel better about myself. Guys, you just got to be doing every single day. Once you turn this video off, you got to do something. You got to start working on yourself. Maybe go for a run tonight, go to the gym, read a book, sit down with a notepad and pen and make a plan as to what you're going to do to actually position yourself at a certain age to be in that position for the big leagues. You're in pre-season right now, but write it all down. Like, actually have a structure, what you need to be working on, and get really serious about it. Just do it consistently. The same 5-10 things on repeat for 5-10 years. Just see where you end up. It's literally not rocket science, but you are trying to position yourself in the big leagues so that when the time comes, you can cash in on all the best stuff. It's a very easy system. And, even when you're in the male advantage years, it's like, I can still get more. I can still push myself even further. I can become even better than this. Like, this isn't even who I am now and where I am in life. I don't think it's even, and bearing in mind, guys, we've just bought a house outright, abroad. So international property owner with a house bought outright, a streaming platform that's been built and bought outright, everything that I've put in place, who I've become myself, 6'2", probably like 11% body fat, a ton of muscle on the frame, can outlift most guys. Like, I've ticked a lot of boxes. I'm not trying to brag, but I've ticked a lot of boxes in life. My life's in a very good place. I swear to God, I feel like I've scratched about 2% of my life. Like tops 5. If somebody said to me, like, be super realistic where you think this could go, it would be like 2 to 5%. I think there's so much more to go off the back of this. I think I've barely scratched the surface. And that's what I mean about, male life and patience. You are just refining yourself for the big leagues. You're trying to position yourself in that perfect position. It's everyone's in such a rush to just go, where am I at? What cards do I have? Let's play these cards. Let's cash in. It's like, just wait another hand. Just keep trying to just get better at this. Just wait. Keep refining, keep working on yourself. Next thing you know, bang, I've got 4 aces. Let's go. Let's make something happen with these 4 aces. What can I do now? There's no point going too soon. There's no point going too early. So many people get scared, but you got the whole world at your feet. And as long as you keep working on yourself, it's only going to get better. And if you're in the right rooms, surrounded by the right people, getting the right inside information, people telling you things like, hey, I think this is going to happen moving forward. Have you seen this? This is going to happen. I think there's going to be this. You're like, oh, okay. I'm in the inner circles now. I can make things happen. That's when your life could change drastically, but you don't get there by just being born. Do you know what I mean? The only people that can get into those very high-end rooms without any hard work is beautiful women. Like, let's not beat around the bush, or sons of rich kids, like billionaire's son. He's going to be in the room. Do you know what I mean? A beautiful woman is going to be in the room. For us as just normal guys that were just born into normal families who have lived normal lives, it might take 10, 15, 20 years to get into those rooms. To be surrounded by those types of women, to be surrounded by those types of business guys, to be in a room with an investor who's going to believe in you, who is going to go, do you know what? I think this is the best idea I've ever heard. I will put up the money to make this happen. To get to those positions, it takes a long time. You got to change who you are. Like, nobody would have invested in 25-year-old Chris. He was a lunatic who sat there swearing every third word. Some of my views were just like, this guy's great, but I can't, do you know what I mean? We can't invest in this guy. I don't want to work with this guy. It's a little bit, it's bad for the brand. It's bad PR. I don't want to be associated with him. Whereas now we're getting sponsorship offers off some of the biggest companies around. They really want to be a part of what we're doing. They're seeing what we're doing and they're saying, hey, look, we want to sponsor we want to provide this for that. Your new 1M house idea. We want to be the providers for this. We want to get involved in it early. If we can get involved early and form a partnership with you, we know where this is going to go in the future. It's positioning. Put myself in such a great position, refined the brands so that when the opportunity came along, we were ready for it. It's the same with women. It's the same with business. It's the same with, being able to move to a city that's about to blow up. It's going to take off. It's like, wow, this is going to be the absolute place. This is where we need to be moving forward. You're going to have that ability to be able to move. You're going to be agile. Like, that's what you're doing, guys. You're positioning yourself so that you can take opportunities when they come along, where you can capitalize on things, where people can take you seriously, including men, women, whatever. Business relationships. People are like, that guy is a serious player. We need to take him seriously. And there's, a beautiful woman who'll be like, I'm actually going to return his call because, that's a serious guy. Like, I can't miss out on this opportunity. Whereas 5 years ago, she'd have been like, who was he? I don't care. It's just, that's the male life. That is the game of life. And some people take it for a year. Some people never start. Some people get in those trenches for a year. Some people 5, some people 10. Some people never quit. Some people push harder the longer it goes. Some people get to their male advantage years and go, this is good, but I want more. I want that Cristiano Ronaldo mentality where it's 365 days per year. I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep pushing this. I'm going to see how far I can take it. I'm obsessed with improvement. Like, there's some guys that do that and they reach the top of society. So it's up to you how far you want to go with it. But the most important thing is positioning yourselves to the big leagues. You don't want to miss an opportunity, guys, whatever it might be. Whether it's meeting your perfect woman, whether it's a business deal, whether it's the opportunity to move to your perfect city, at the right time, which just changes your life. Like, I don't know what it would be for you, but you need to be in that position. You need to be ready so that when those opportunities come along, you've got it available. You've got 1 or 2 million sat in the bank account. So when an opportunity, okay, realistically, you've got 100 grand sat in the bank account. So when a major opportunity comes along, you're like, oh, I'm going to put 30,000 into that. That 30,000 makes you another 300,000. And that completely changes your life because then you're able to buy a house outright whilst keeping the same money in your account. That is just positioning. That is just, I was at the right place at the right time. And I put myself there by doing this, this, and this. And a lot of you, and that ties into patience. And a lot of you are going, what can I do today, this year to become rich? Or who can I meet tomorrow? I need a girlfriend. And it's like, no, as long as you position yourself, you work hard, you refine yourself, and you'll be planted in a certain spot at a certain time. These things come to you. These things come along. And male life, it's pretty inexhaustible. It doesn't really stop. I don't think men are old until they're like 60. You got so many years, guys. Like, I'm sat here right now with like 30 years of that to come. You look at Michael Rubin at 51 with like a 32-year-old supermodel on his arm. Yeah, he's a billionaire, but like I'm pretty sure other people could have pulled that off. I know there's millions of guys in the world that have. And it's just like why rush that? You know, it's better to be like you have to be in the position. Otherwise that's never going to happen to you. Do you know what I mean? He's got all these celebrity friends, which I'm not saying you should go after. I'm not sure, you know, it's not really something I strive for. But for him to host those massive parties every year and have all these celebrities around him, which has undoubtedly probably made him more money and has undoubtedly got him probably that woman who turned up to the party, which is probably his life setup strategy. In order to do that, you know, he had to work for years. He had to become the billionaire first before he could pull all of that off. And now he's like sat at the helm of all of that. And everyone is just like following his fucking orders. Like he's just running the show. It takes time. He's like had to position himself to be there, to invite those people, to have the level of respect, to make all of that happen. Do you see what I mean? Like it's taken him years and years and years. And hey, the quicker you can do it, the better, guys. I'm not telling you guys to sit on your hands and wait, but like I said, you're not going to just show up in the position. You're not going to be born like, oh, I'm ready for. It's like no, it's like, you know, if you want a promotion at work, you want that top job, you're going to have to do certain things and climb your way up. And then when that opening comes, you're like, bang, I'm there. This is mine. I can take this now. I positioned myself perfectly to get that top job. You know, it took me 3 years, but I'm here. I knew he was going to retire. I knew he always said he was going to retire in 3 years. So I've been working my balls off for 3 years to put myself in that position. I want to take it now. You know, you've literally designed that entire strategy so that when it came along, they were like, you're there for the promotion. You're getting that top job. Congratulations. Like you've shown over the last 3 years. That's all it takes. That's male life. Just positioning, guys. I'll speak to you all soon.